mind. Things paranormal talks in the dark. Secrets buried leave a burning mark. We interview the dead, we debate the unknown. Chasing shadows where the seeds are sown. Fingers tapping on a Ouija board. Broken silence like a shattered chord. Eerie hums in the dead of night.
Hey, it works.
Oh my God.
I'm so I'm every time we're glad it works because usually it was like, nah, you'll do it yourself.
Mine's the same way. I use the same service you guys do, and every once in a while you're like, oh, please work, please work.
Yeah. Exactly. And we are almost cheering if it isn't work, if it is working.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Oh, I put on the comments.
Yes,
Oh
yes,
my God, we have a viewer already.
of course
Yes,
we do. We have
we
three.
have Noreen and we have Calvin. So good evening. Welcome to another episode of Things Paranormal Talks. And today we have Tom Springer. And for our listeners on Spotify, can you please tell them who you are and what you do?
Sure. My name is Tom Springer. I am a host of a show, kind of like this one, and it's called Stuff I Never Learned from a Schoolbook. I'm also a Midwest director out here in the States. So I'm in Nebraska. So I take care of Nebraska and the 5 surrounding states, and I do home investigations for people who think they have something that they want to help identify or maybe remove or identify as family members and want it to stay. I'm also a paranormal investigator in charge of a team called Sixth Sense Investigators, and that's pretty much where I am right now. Is kind of a hand in everything. So
Cool. Busy
Yeah.
life, very busy life.
Yeah, yeah. And I do like your podcast show.
thank you.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Spirits, UFOs.
It is. It covers UFO, cryptology, cryptids, paranormal. It's kind of a little bit of everything, like you said, parallel universes, multiverse, a little bit of everything. It started out as a paranormal show, and because I realized I had abilities only about 4 years ago, but I didn't have anywhere to turn to look for help. So I went ahead and developed my podcast or my show and said, hey, like-minded people who think you might have abilities, but you're not sure. Let's come together and try to figure something out. I'll try to bring on guests that know what they're doing so we don't break the universe on our own. And after that, I started having other people with other interests asked to come onto the show. So it opened up to everything at that point. That's kind of where we are now, is that it's branched out to anything that people would call odd or weird that don't understand who we are. So
Yeah, that's very cool.
thank you.
Yeah, that's very cool. I've
Yeah,
seen a couple of episodes and I'm like, yep, I like watching this.
yeah.
Thank you.
It's a
Definitely.
bit like us, all over the place.
Mhm.
This week we talk about cryptids, and
Yep.
next week we will talk about multiverse, universe, everything.
Yep.
Yeah, the stone tape theory.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I really love it. But you have abilities you
I
found
do.
out. What kind of abilities do you have?
There. So I have a few, and I'm finding out that they're still growing. I don't call myself anything specific. I call myself a practicing intuitive. But I learned while I went on an investigation about 4 years ago with some friends. I wasn't actually going to investigate. I was just going to watch them. And at that time, a few minutes into it, all of a sudden I actually see an apparition walk into the room with us and start talking to me. And I started talking back. And we had a couple of other mediums who were on the team, and they were like, "Who are you talking to?" And I'm like, "The lady right there." And they were like, "How long have you been able to see her?" And I looked at my watch and went, 10 seconds? And so that was the opening of my abilities, and they've branched out. So I'm a psychic, I'm a medium. I can talk to elementals, so earth, wind, water, fire, and metal, just like I'm seeing and hearing and talking to you. That's how I see them. They're very right there for me. I can push energy anywhere across the world. I can see auras. A new one I'm developing, or that I found out I have, is when someone is talking about something that happened to them, like if they're discussing they want an adventure or an investigation. When they start talking, I start watching it through their eyes, like I was living it with them. So I can, a lot of times I'll be like, oh, then you saw this. They were like, hold on a second, I didn't tell you that. How did you know that? I'm like, oh, I saw it. And so it kind of creeps them out sometimes when I do that. But that's one of my newer ones. But the one I claim that is my most favorite gift is I have what's called I call it the John Coffey effect. If you've ever watched The Green Mile, the large gentleman who can grab a hold of people and sense what they do.
Yep.
I have an ability to, if I hug you with an intent, I can take away your anxiety, your sadness, your pain, a lot of different things, and just release it back out like it never existed. It never goes into me. It hits me and stays on me, but then it dissipates off of me like it never existed. And that's to me, I think is is the best gifts I have, because I can help others simply by giving them a hug, if it's with intent. But yeah, so there's a lot of different abilities that are out there, and more keep showing up, and I'm excited about it because I don't want them to stop. But I was naive enough to believe that I had abilities, and we all had the same abilities. I did not know that we have our own separate types of abilities. Because someone asked me a question once when I was actually on my show, and I said, "Oh, I can answer that." And everyone's like, "How can you answer that?" And I'm like, "Because she asked," and I instantly got a note in my head saying, "Yeah, you can answer that. Just start talking." I'm like, "Can't we all do this?" And they're like, "No." I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we could. I just figured we could all do it." But I'm learning now that each one has their own different abilities. So it's kind of interesting to work with them too, because some people have different abilities than me, and I get to learn from them. So it's really great to work with others as well.
That is very cool.
It is. I'm completely flabbergasted.
I'm not just flabbergasted. I'm actually very jealous right now.
Yeah, don't be. It's
Actually, yes. I want those abilities. Those are cool.
yeah, they I tell people when I first started developing them, it's like they hit me like I was drinking from a fire hose, because they just slammed into me right away. When I told you I began learning about them and I was on the investigation, we were on a weekend investigation, so it was an overnight for a couple of nights.
Mm.
And this happened like 10 minutes into the very first day. And the people on the team were like, "Great, let's see what else you can do. Let's see what else you can do." So we started playing with it on the investigations to see what else I was able to pick up and what else I can do. But not all of them hit at once. The main three that hit at once was my paranormal, my psychic, my mediumship, and my elemental capabilities. All the rest of them came afterwards, kind of piecemeal, one by one. And the best description I have of it is I have a medicine woman who started me kind of early. She couldn't help me too much, and she told me she really isn't going to be able to. But what she did state is that the reason my abilities are coming back in pieces is because these are all different abilities I had from past lifetimes, and I'm just remembering them. And they're just slowly working their way back up. But I'm also told I am beyond old, so I have a lot of abilities that will keep coming because I knew a lot of them through different lifetimes.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
You have a busy life, and now it's busy with all the abilities as well.
And it is. It's very interesting in a crowded room sometimes if I don't close myself off and just let myself be.
Yeah,
I can understand that. Yes.
can be a struggle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I don't have the abilities, but in busy rooms, I'm going crazy.
Yeah. And I am too normally, because I'm not an extrovert. I really am an introvert. And so doing the show is already strenuous enough. But then adding on abilities when you're in a crowded room, when you don't want to be in a crowded room, when you just want to be by yourself, it takes on its own entity itself, and you're like, "Oh boy, here we go."
Mhm. Yeah, I can imagine something like that. Yes.
Yeah,
If it would be me, I would probably just be at home screaming like, "Bye! I ain't coming anymore.
right.
You will not see me." Mm-mm.
Now I'm curious. You can talk to elementals.
Yes,
How do you hear them? Like we are talking, or
I hear
what?
them. I hear them just like people. I see, hear, and talk to them just like people. Um, Elementals are very different, though. They do not have what we would consider a consciousness. They're designed to take care of the earth. That's it. People are in the way, is what I hear a lot of times. I'll give you an example. There was a location where we took down a lot of forestry to build homes, and one of the people I know was trying to build a home there, and they were trying to pour the concrete, and the concrete kept cracking for the foundation. And finally, they get a hold of me. And they're like, "Tom, what's going on? I don't understand. I poured 3 different concrete foundations, and it won't stay." And so I focused on their property, and I'm like, "Oh, you have an earth elemental that is mad that you tore up that you took down everything that was environmental. They're not going to let you build here." And I said, the only thing you can do first is to start planting your your greenery, your shrubs, your trees, everything else that you're going to plant after you built the home. Plant those first, and they will understand that you're trying to help heal the earth. You're not just there to destroy it, but you're going to heal it back as well. And they'll let you pour your concrete. And they did that. They put in a handful of trees, and they put in a bunch of other stuff, and he poured the concrete, and it was perfectly fine. And he's like, "All right, that did the trick. How did you know?" And I go, "I'm literally listening to them talk to me, and I don't need to be next to them to hear them. It's I can also hear them from distance, from anywhere if I focus on it. So I just needed to focus on his property, and they spoke with me, and it was it's interesting how many times people have something come up and they instantly think spiritual, and it's actually elemental.
Hmm.
There's something that's going on, and they're just there was a friend of mine. Excuse me. She moved into a new home, and it was actually my boss's daughter, and she moved into a new home right next to my boss, and it's in kind of a farmland outside of town, and someone had just moved into the house before that and tried to like straighten it up and to flip it to sell it really fast, but they didn't do a very good job, and they really tore up the basement bad. And she got in there, and she was very overwhelmed and very anxious, and she was just feeling like she was just being attacked. And my boss asked me to go to her house, and they said, "We think we have something here." And I said, "Well, you do." And she said, "Oh, I know it. I'm haunted." And I said, "No, you have an elemental in the basement." She was like, "I have a what?" And I said, "You have an elemental in the basement." And she goes, "I don't know what that is." So there was like 5 or 6 of us that went to the location, and I went downstairs to the basement. And the way the basement was set up was half of it was finished, but then there was a dividing wall, but the other half wasn't. And the other half that wasn't finished was where the heater was, the water heater was, where the furnace was, air conditioner was. But I crossed through that doorway into that area, and I told everyone else, "Stay out here. Don't come in here with me. This is not good." And I had someone there that was videotaping with, trying to at least videotape through the door. And she goes, "Tom, I don't have any battery left." And I'm like, "Oh, well, change the battery out, put the other one in." She put the other one in, it said full, and then 2 seconds later it went dead too. And it would not let us record what was going on. But we did a voice recorder, and I walked in there, and I can see the elemental, and he is huge. He is gigantic. But he ran. He scurried up into like a little crawl space and ran away from me. And I'm like, "Why are you running from me?" And he says, "Your essence is older than I am. I don't know who you are." So that kind of took me back, because that was the first time I've ever heard how old I was. We had a discussion. He was not happy. I call him a he because that's how I saw him. And at one point, rocks came flying at me, and I moved, and they went out. They threw the doorway into the other room, and they're like, "What happened?" I go, "He's mad at me, so he threw rocks at me trying to get me to leave." And I had to have a discussion with him for about 20 minutes. and explained to him the person who owned the house now is not the same person who fixed it up and just left it kind of in a mess. And the person who owns it now is very nice, and she's very much into nature and everything else. So we had to make an agreement that she would bring down plants, and she put plants down around the basement, and she planted some outside the window that you can see in the basement as well. And everything became very calm. And she says, I don't feel the anxiousness anymore. We actually get along really well. And it really helps that she's a musician. She can play piano, she can play guitar, she can play harp. And it really likes the music. The elemental really likes the music, and it's very calming. So now they have a relationship that's very good. But at first she thought it was a haunting, and I had to explain to her, no, it wasn't. And that's what I get. I don't want to say a lot of people, but there are a handful of people that come across that they think it's something it's not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we hear that a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, most of the time, because they haven't got the knowledge of the different types of things you can come across.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it seems to be elementals is the one that everyone wants to talk to me about, because there's not too many people out there that have the same insight of elementals that I do, because of my ability to see and talk to them so well.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems to be whenever I come on a show or I do something at a conference or something, everyone's like, can you talk about elementals? And I'm like, sure, I can talk about elementals. And I let them know that they don't look alike. They're not. I tell them they're very much like humans, but they almost look like their cousins. I mean, if you have a lot of people, when they see an earth elemental, they see the big, bouldery, strong type, slow moving, everything else. But it really depends on their location, what their environment is. If it's an earth elemental in a wooded area, it looks like a tree. It looks like, but if it's in a big, open, boulder, flat area, well, then yeah, they're going to look like the boulders and everything else. That's it. They take on the area they live within.
Yeah.
And to me, they kind of remind me of cousins. They kind of work in that area, and that's how they appear.
Yeah.
And that's the different ways. It's the same thing with the wind, the water, the fire, and the metal elementals. They all have their own appearance based off of where they live, and they're, for the most part, they work very well together. But sometimes they do have their own fights over who should be taking care of what.
Mm-hmm.
So so I see that a lot too.
Yeah, and they make a mess out of things.
They do that,
Yeah.
but they so out in Southern California, they had the huge fires that wiped out a lot of Southern California. And I explained to people that was the elementals. That was two of the elementals working together. It was the wind elementals and the fire elementals, because the governor of the state has been given 7 years to clean that up, and a lot of money. And although he kept saying he was doing it, he wasn't. And finally, the elementals said, "You're killing our earth." It was just rubbish, and it was just old stuff that wasn't allowing new stuff to grow underneath the ground. And so those two teamed up, and they just went in, and the fires went off. And instead of being able to put the fires out, the winds kicked up to 70 miles an hour, which is not common out there. And it burned out what it needed to. And then when they did what they needed to, everything calmed down. A rain came down, water was there, and it stopped. And people are just thinking, oh, well, that's, someone lit that fire. And I'm like, no, they really didn't. The elementals stepped in and took care of that themselves, because you were stopping the earth from healing and regrowing.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
yeah.
Makes
Maybe-
perfectly sense. And that's because the fire started at multiple different places at the same
Yes.
time. It
Yep.
usually doesn't do that. If it's human, like it never starts at the same time.
Yeah, it's one local place that you can identify what started it. This one, they
Yeah.
don't even know what started it.
No.
So, yeah.
Well, that's
And
fair
they weren't expecting those winds, but all of a sudden the winds kicked up to 60, 70 miles per hour.
Yeah.
And again, they don't care about the human aspect.
Nope.
So the fact that so many homes were taken out, they don't care. They were trying to get to a place where the earth could heal again. And it just so happens that people lived on that land, and homes were put up on that land, and they just decimated everything. And that's they don't care. They don't have that consciousness that people do. They say, we need to heal the earth. We're not here to protect the people. The people protect the people. We protect the earth. If people hurting the earth, then we're going to care more about the earth than we do the people.
Yeah.
And they do.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Yeah, they don't have human morals, and they will never have those.
right. They just don't have that
Mhm.
feeling. That's not what they have.
Nope.
So they are one step younger than time itself. And so I see Kelvin says that he's never heard of an elemental. Elementals are not like spiritual in nature or anything else. They are strictly environmental. That you can't think of them as something from another realm or something from it's. They are strictly environmental, and their sole purpose for being here was exactly what we talk about. It wasn't to make humankind better. It wasn't to do anything else. It was to take care of the earth. So, and that's more of a the two cultures that I know they originated from was from a Norse culture as well as a indigenous culture out here with the Native American, which happens to be both of my bloodlines is Norse and Native American. So I read a lot into them and listen very much to what happens on Earth and everything else. So very much in touch with my culture. So
That is cool.
Cool. Now, you came across an elemental, I think, Shane.
Did I?
The one you captured with the laser grid. What?
Oh yes.
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 Maybe Tom knows what it is.
Oh, I don't. I think he knows what it is. It was at a wooden place, and there were Stonehenges,
mm, mhm.
and there were children playing on those Stonehenges. And my wife's high priestess, she works with elements as well. Um, she got very, very upset and angry. And she actually
Yeah.
wanted to kick the kids out because
Yeah.
she loves kids, but not that day.
Yeah.
She actually wanted to kick them. Attacked with a elemental. And she asked him to walk with her
Mm.
around the Stonehenge. Just walk, and he thought the laser grid was very funny. All those
Yeah.
little dots.
All the little dots. Yeah.
He was very, very curious about it, and she was like, "Well, if you want to know what it does, just walk through it with me. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to touch you.
Right.
It doesn't do
Just
anything
help,
to you." And he
just
walked
helps
through.
identify you. Yeah.
Yeah. He walked through. It was a woodland spirit.
Yeah.
Woodland elemental, and it was very cool. It was very big, by the way.
Yeah.
Very
There.
big. My wife
There's
ain't that big.
well, and there's a lot of misconception about that I have to explain to people. Elementals are not one size.
Nope.
They have if you ever go to Hawaii and there is an entire mountain range called the Sleeping Boy or the Sleeping Man, that is actually one elemental that is actually along that entire mountain range.
Yeah.
I was over there and I ran into a couple of friends who were investigators, and they were taking me to a location over there. And this is the first time we've met in person. And I flew over there for work, so I was able to spend some time over there with them. The first time I met them, and I saw an elemental walk up to the edge of the jungle they were going to take me in, and I can see him, and I start talking to him, and he's standing there, and he's holding a large spear, a large wooden spear. And I said, "Can you do me a favor? I can see you, I can hear you, I can talk to you. Can you please do something to help identify to the others that you're here?" And the colors of the leaves at that area were very, very dark green. And all of a sudden you see this silhouette come out, and the leaves kind of turn like a bluish, like a totally different color than what's around them. And you can see the outline of the shoulders and the helmet and the arms and the spear and everything else for them to see it. And they were like, that's amazing. And he was big. He was probably about 20, 25 feet tall, but he was there to guard the entrance to the entryway into the jungle, because it's late at night and we weren't supposed to be in there. But the two people I'm with are native Hawaiian, and they said, "Well, we're allowed to come in here. We've been here many times. We've been blessed off to do this." And so it actually stepped aside and let us walk in. Once we walked in, the wind went absolutely crazy. I mean, it was perfectly still when we got there. We started walking through the trees. The trees started blowing. Down on where we were was nothing, but the trees were blowing crazy. And they're like, what is it? It's almost like a static energy. And I said, this is the air elementals walking us to where we're going and keeping us protected. And they were like, I've never experienced anything like this the whole time we've been on the island. And then we get to a stream and the air stops, but the water picked up speed. And I'm like, well, the air elementals are gone. Now the water elementals are protecting us here along the stream. And they have never experienced anything. For me, it's kind of a daily occurrence. I live on a lake, so so for me, it's kind of a daily occurrence. But for them, they couldn't believe what was happening around us because they've never experienced that before. And it was very interesting to see people react to that way when I'm just so used to it. I always have to remind myself that not everyone does this or sees this the way I do. So they do have a different feeling when it comes to them.
Yeah, they do. Definitely do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kelvin just said, I have the picture because he had a
I saw
picture of it. He sent it to me. If you want to see it, I can show it up. I put it up on
Sure,
the screen.
absolutely.
Let me see. Where's it at? There it is. Let's see if you can see it. Is
Oh,
it?
absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
clear,
yeah, it really is.
and that's exactly what we saw.
And that's actually walking away from you at that point.
Yeah, he was walking away from him.
Yeah,
Kelvin was the one who shot that picture. He's one of my fellow former investigators. Um, and this is the reason he went to me as an investigator to say, I got something on camera. Could you look at it? And that's how we got in contact.
yeah, it's actually walking away because you can see the shoulders and the arms
Yeah,
going down
yeah,
at the body. But do you know that you actually have something to the right as well?
yeah, right here.
Yep,
Yeah, I saw that. I think it's one and the same.
it's the same, but
Yeah,
it's a youngling. It's a young one.
yeah,
It's not as old, and so the age for them is very different. The one that's on the left is probably about 20 to 25,000, 30,000 years old.
Wow.
And the one on the right, the youngling, is maybe about 2 to 3,000 years old.
yeah,
And you can tell by how they're built and how they carry. The one on the right, you can almost see like it's a adolescent type of movement that's happening, whereas the other one walking is almost like guarding that land, is like walking a perimeter.
Oh yes, he was guarding. Trust me.
I would say to keep an eye on everything that was going on around there. Absolutely, yeah,
He was definitely guarding.
that's a great picture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Very, very glad he captured it and sent it to me because I do have the picture somewhere on my computer and I saved
yeah.
it probably 5 times already. But it keep moving. I don't know what it is. I always
Yeah.
keep losing the pictures.
Yeah,
But
I'll be sure to send you the pictures I have because I actually took pictures of the elemental that I have holding this spear when the colors changed
oh, that's
of the
cool.
leaves, and I'll send it to you. I'll send it to Mary, so Mary, you can have it.
Yeah.
That's
I
cool.
don't anything that I take shots of or anything else, I don't copyright or anything else. So you're more than welcome to see them and everything else.
Yeah, cool.
I don't restrict them at all. I want
No,
people to be able to share with them, share them and look at them and be like, oh, that's really cool. So
yeah,
Yeah, love
it
it.
is. Yeah, cool. Very cool.
Love
yeah,
it. Well, now I'm curious because I followed Chris Fleming and
Mhm.
he went to Scotland and Ireland and he came across fairies.
Mhm.
Do you have them in the States as well?
We do. We have fairies. Um, there's a lot of people out here who build the fairy or the fae gardens. We actually have places designated in our store where you can actually buy little things to build fairy gardens with. Like they're designated for that for your area, and it's I hate to tell people, but I have to tell them that fairies are not necessarily nice.
Mhm.
Um, they're very much kids who want their way all the time.
Yep.
And if they can't have it, then they will punish you for it.
Yep.
As compared to some people who go, oh, they're fairies, they're very cute, they're Tinkerbell. And I'm like, absolutely not.
No,
Uh,
they're a
you are,
bunch of little bastards. I know them.
they really are. And I hate to break, but it seems like the American culture very much believes that they are, they're cute, they're fun to have. Like they'd be great little, like, children to have. And I'm like, no, you have no clue what you're stepping into when you're playing with fairies, because not only are they little pains in the butts, but they're very strong.
Mm-hmm.
They're very powerful despite their size. Don't let the size fool you. But we have them out here. And I've had to help some people who have had the fairy gardens and wanted to remove them, and then things have gone a little sideways. So I've had to help them remove the fairies as well. So
They suck.
yes, they do. That's putting it nicely.
I'm going to be honest with you. Before I married my wife and learned all about the witchy stuff and fairies and you name it, I learned it. I thought they were cute as well. She was like,
Right.
"Oh hell no!
Right.
Don't ever say that again." I'm like, "Why?"
They're,
And then I got the complete explanation you just gave.
yeah.
and I never forget.
I call them like adolescent kids that
Yep.
that have a temper and have no one to teach them how to behave. And that's really how they are.
Yeah,
But they're really cool if you see them from a distance in their gardens.
yeah,
Or if you're in a meadow or you're in somewhere that's open and they come around and they want to be around you because of your vibration, your whatever. But they like to come around and like to kind of play, just to kind of see what happens when you react to them or how you react to them.
Mhm.
To get and they really do show themselves initially as very tender, very nice, very, very friendly, because they want stuff from you.
Yep.
And then after that, it gets bad if you don't give them everything. So normally when I come across them, I just walk away. I don't want to try to entice them at all in any way, shape, or form.
exactly. Very smart, because you can always ask them for something, but they always have a toll. They always
Yes,
pay the toll.
you always have to. Yes, they always want something in return.
Mhm.
It's never as easy as thank you and walk away.
Mm-mm.
So
No.
Booze, salt, sugar, coins.
man, yeah,
And yeah,
mostly the shiny objects.
Yep.
They very
Yeah.
much want. Yeah, tinsel, bells, reflectors. Spoons, surprisingly enough, they really like spoons because they like
yeah.
because they like
Rings,
they like the,
keys.
yeah they
Yeah.
like the reflections. They like to play with the light and the reflections.
Yep.
And one of the big reasons for that is that a lot of people don't know is they like the shiny reflective things because that's where that's an easier way for them to go between the nether world and our world. It's instead of them having to use so much of their strength to do it, they can simply walk through those like a portal.
Yeah.
So they don't have to use their energy to do it. We're giving them the things to allow them to do it on their own, and they've learned how to use it very well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They definitely do.
Now I want a fairy garden. I want my ring back.
You wish.
Yeah, I lost 3 or 4, and they were on the side table, and I'm sure I put them down.
Mm-hmm.
The next morning, I woke up and they were gone. Nowhere
Yeah.
to be found.
They take what they want. They don't ask permissions. So yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for my car keys. Nowhere to be found.
Really.
Fuck it. The cars are long gone. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have the car anymore, but
Absolutely amazing. I love it. I really do.
they're a bunch of assholes.
They are.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Uh, cryptids. Have you ever heard of a puka?
So puka is Hawaiian. I've heard of them, but I really have to lean more towards my Hawaiian friends to tell me more about that. I am familiar with it, but not enough to talk comfortably about it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I know a lot, but I don't know everything. Unfortunately, as much as I try, Sometimes either my history or my spirit guides don't let me in on stuff. They just like, nope, that was not for you. And I'm like, okay. So
Not the
Yeah,
time yet.
I
right.
came across an episode and they were talking about a puka and they were part of Irish folklore
Oh, okay.
and they are kind of shapeshifters into animals, in
Oh,
goats, dogs, wolves.
I don't know them as a name Puka, but I know them. I know them here. In the States, we have them as dogmen or as even Wendigo have that ability. And I've dealt with them. They're not easy to deal with. They are unbelievably dangerous. Um, one of my I tie very well into the dogmen, and that's simply because one of my native heritages is known for being the dogman warriors that were able to shapeshift into wolves and everything else. So that's something that my history talks about and my native side, but I don't know the terminology for it until you told me what puka is. But I also know there's a puka, and I don't remember, but I don't think it's a positive thing in Hawaiian language as well. They have the mo'o and they have some other ones out there who are magical beings and stuff, but I don't know the puka too much outside of. I understand what you're saying, but I don't know
Yeah,
it for that name.
okay. Yeah, every country has its own,
It does.
Except
except
the Dutch.
us, except us. The whole
Wait, we
world.
don't have cryptids.
No,
No?
nope,
No.
Huh. That's
never
interesting.
came across.
We already said we're gonna go over to America and steal some.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. We have plenty of them. Just pack them as carry-on luggage and
Yeah.
just set them next to you and just have a good time.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
sir. What do you have in that? Don't open it.
Right,
You
right.
will escape and run back again. Don't do it.
Have you anything to declare? Nope.
No,
Absolutely not. Nope.
that would be fun.
So funny, so funny. Did you dive into skinwalkers?
Yes. So there is a gentleman out here. He goes by the name of William Nighthawk. He is a medicine man, Lakota tribe. And he is kind of the person I learn a lot from on the native side, on my indigenous side. And he actually prepares people that have to battle with skinwalkers. We have sorry, I have to go back a little ways. I'm prior military. I still work for the military, but I'm prior military, active duty, and we have dealt with skinwalkers in the military when I was military. It was very interesting to tell my team not to go chase it because it will not survive. I have friends of mine who have hunted them, and I've had to explain to them they won't find them. They're like, well, we found the caves where all the bones have been found of what it's eaten. And I'm like, yes, but you're tracking it and you realize there's no footsteps, there's no footprints anywhere. And they're like, no. And I said, because it won't show footprints. Skinwalkers don't have to show footprints. They don't have to. They're very good at shape shifting. They can walk without leaving marks, but they are. I'm surprisingly enough, I say skinwalker, I say Wendigo because I'm not afraid of them. But a lot of people, when you interview them, will not use those words. They will call them S-walkers and they will call them something else, but they will not use the words. I don't have any fear because I'm too dumb to know any better, is what I always tell people. But I also believe that I have the ability, if I really need to face off with one and be okay. But we've had them to where we've been walking on paths and you'll hear something off to the side saying, help me, and it sounds like a little girl or it sounds like a woman, and I'm like, do not leave this path. There's absolutely nothing out there that you want to go face. It's simply a skinwalker trying to call you out. So we have to deal with those quite a bit. Not everyone deals with them, but there's a handful of people that I know that because of our ability to understand what they are, they seem to seek us out. They seem to want to challenge us. Not everyone wants to challenge them back,
No.
but they do try to They've walked up on one of my friend's doorways, tried to get into their front door. Like they've actually banged on their door. They've actually tried to get into people's houses and stuff like that. And it's just a little creepy to have something like that that you think you're hunting, but all of a sudden it's hunting you. You went from predator to prey, and you didn't realize it was happening.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
I have a question about skinwalkers.
Sure.
Are they, per definition, evil beings, or is it something else? There's something else behind it.
They are absolutely evil beings. The first belief of skinwalkers was a dark shaman or dark medicine man who gave their lives over to like they were dying, but they didn't want to die, so they gave over their being, their entire self, to the dark side, and they actually were formed into skinwalkers. But they don't have the consciousness anymore to be good. They are pure evil, which is why a lot of people won't say their names, because they're afraid if you call it out too many times, one will appear. It's almost like saying Beetlejuice too many times. You're afraid Beetlejuice is going to show up somewhere, but they're afraid if you say the word skinwalker or even a Wendigo, which is a different being but still the same lines of it, then you may be calling it to you because you're giving it a voice, like you're giving it recognition. But no, there has never been a good skinwalker.
Oh, that was a good question from I actually wanted it for a long time. I never actually talked to someone who had knowledge about it or firsthand knowledge.
Yeah.
So that's why the question popped up immediately. I was like, "Oh, I can ask you that."
Yeah, you can. Yeah, and I'm one of those that I'll tell you anything I know. If I don't know it, I just won't tell you.
No,
If
exactly.
I do know it, I absolutely will. And but yes, that is definitely something that is very much feared, especially in the indigenous world.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are used to seeing them the most, and so that's what we deal with.
Oh. There's one, I think it's called a cryptid, but there's one that fascinates me so much.
Which
I
one?
still have to learn about it a lot. Black-eyed kids.
Oh yeah,
Those
black-eyed
fascinate
kids.
me very much.
So there's a discussion between those if they are cryptids or if they're actually from the if they are alien.
Yeah.
The black-eyed kids are not good either.
No.
There are no nice black-eyed kids.
Nope.
They'll walk up on your car and they'll knock on your window and ask for help, and you do not roll that window down. You do not open up that door. Black-eyed kids are not good. And there's still the discussion between extraterrestrial or cryptid. It's still a gray area.
Yeah, because I heard a lot about the fact that they saw black-eyed children, and the same night they saw something fly through the air that's not
And then
supposed
they
to be
see
there.
something.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. And so that's the big discussion.
Yeah.
So I worked with the lady out here. I had her on my show a couple times. I've talked with her a handful of times, and she's a friend of mine out here. Her name is Christy Peterson. If you don't know who Christy is one of the foremost respected extraterrestrial knowledge people by NASA. They actually go to her and ask questions and everything else, because she talks about the fact that she has a hybrid child. She's been abducted a handful of times, and she actually has a hybrid child, and she gets brought back to the ship every once in a while to heal her child, because her child is part alien, part human. But the alien side does not have basically a soul. It does not have love. It does not know that. So the child starts to die, and you can tell the child starts to die because the color chart starts to change. So she gets brought back up to the ship to hold her child and basically put it to her heart and to give it a life force. And then the child will heal by her holding it. And then they send her back. And then the child continues to live in the extraterrestrial world, but they come and get her whenever they need her to help heal her child. And those aren't the black-eyed kids, but there's just so many different things out there like that. But the black-eyed kids, I believe, are extraterrestrial. I believe they are. I believe they come to test us to see how strong we really are. How strong is the human race?
Yeah.
How much can we withstand? How much are we? How gullible are we? I think they take our kindness as a weakness, and they test us through that way.
Yeah. That does make a lot of sense because usually when a kid knocks on a window or door asking for help, we will help.
They're going to answer.
Yeah.
So they put us in the most vulnerable thing that we know, which is a child or an animal. They don't do animals, but our two most vulnerable our three most vulnerable that we seem to help the most are animals, children, and the elderly.
Yeah.
So anything like outside of that, we're like, you're on your own. But those three we have a tendency to lean and have more empathy for. So those are the ones we'll help more.
True.
Makes sense.
I have to learn so much about those. I have to read so much because, like I said, they intrigue me. I don't know why, but it just does.
Yeah.
I've heard so many stories. Like, I want to know what they are.
Yeah.
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 So you also mentioned the paranormal team you have.
Yes.
How do you combine your gifts, cryptids, and the paranormal?
So it's very odd because my gifts run through the entire gambit. I see, hear, and talk to elementals, like I say, and a lot of people would consider those cryptids. They're not, they're environmental, but that's the closest thing to a cryptid that some people understand, outside of like Loch Ness Monster and stuff like that. But my paranormal side, I can pick up on energy from people, or they walk in on me, but I can, we use a lot of equipment out here to investigate, but my best equipment is me. And my equipment I use is for others to see what I'm feeling, seeing, hearing, whatever else. And the other side of that, which is even more strange, apparently to a lot of people, but to me it's kind of normal. When I am hearing spirit in this realm, in the human realm, it's in my head. I can hear you talk in my head. And some other mediums or psychics that are around us will hear the same thing. But when I start talking to, I'm going to call them people from other dimensions, it resonates through my shoulders. So I know if I'm talking to something in this realm, in this dimension, or something else. And that was a very interesting thing to happen, because the very first time I heard it, I was trying to help a friend kind of help develop her powers back again, her abilities again that she had shut down since she was little. And I had something come to me, and it was in another dimension. And she said, tell this person to go to another room and listen for my voice. I will project. And I said, fantastic. And everyone was like, wait, what are you talking about? And I said, this person came through to me. She sounds female to me. And she's one. They're like, well, we didn't hear it. And then I heard her again, and she goes, they can't, because I'm not in your realm. I'm not in your dimension. Only you can hear me. And that's the first time I ever heard anybody from another realm, another dimension. All of a sudden, I'm like, I can hear people in other dimensions? And they were like, wait, what? And I was like, that's what I'm being told, which is why you can't hear them. They were very skeptical. They did not let the person go by herself because they were afraid that it was a setup. And I'm like, no, because the feeling is different. If it was here and it was something trying to set her up to trap her to be by her own, I'd feel it in my head. But the shoulders is totally different, and it runs all the way across my shoulders when I hear that. And it has a tendency that nobody else hears that, which to me was kind of cool, but it was very odd the first few times it happened. So my abilities kind of run through all of them, and I use them in all different ways that I'm capable of. And it seems like when I learned to see auras, I did not know I can see auras until I was sitting with a couple of people after a show. And one of them said, hey, can you see auras? And instantly a voice told me yes, and I was able to see her aura. And I go, yeah. And hers just appeared like that, like out of nowhere. And she was like, you can see auras? And I go, yeah. She goes, how long have you been able to see auras? I said, since you asked. And that seems to be how I find out my abilities, because a person came on my show and she was watching me from Indonesia. And she asked my entire audience, she's like, hey, I have a question for anybody who can answer this. Can someone please help me? When I walk around, I feel like something's with me and I'm afraid of it. Can anyone tell me what it is? And everyone's like, no, you're halfway across the world. And I'm like, I know what it is. And she's like, what? Because a voice came to me and said, yes, you know what this is. Tell her what it is. And so I explained to her, I said, when you walk around these places, it's places that you used to walk. I even described one. I said, you walk down this wonderful cobblestone walkway right next to a river, very small river, but it's like a stream river. and you're walking by almost like a shopping area, but one of them is an ice cream parlor with the little white tables and chairs outside that you can sit in and enjoy the people walking by and everything else. She said, absolutely. And I said, that's where you used to walk by with your dad, and he would stop and get ice cream. I go, when you're walking by those places, you feel that energy. That's literally your dad taking your hand and walking you by. And she's like, every single place that I feel is when my dad would hold my hand. And so that was just identifying that's what it was. And they're like, how did you know? And I'm like, I can see him walking her. And they're like, you can see him. I'm like, she's describing it. I'm watching it through her eyes, and I can tell. And I described him, and she's like, that's my dad. And I'm like, well, that's your dad. That's what I'm telling you. So, but those are the way my abilities kind of show up. I don't. I am self-proclaimed lazy when it comes to trying to develop my abilities. I don't meditate. I don't really do anything. It seems like if I'm supposed to have it, it shows up.
Yeah.
And it's I feel kind of bad because I am that way compared to other people that have to work at it. But on the other hand, I'm really happy because I don't have to work at it. So
I think the reason behind it is because, well, like you said, you have many lives before this, and all those
Right.
abilities were yours already,
yeah,
and you get it back as soon as you're ready for it.
right. And I think that's what a lot of people have agreed upon after I tell them, look, I don't practice. They're like, you don't practice? I'm like, no. And I've had one lady exactly tell me that, really fantastic, wonderful lady out here, but she's like, you don't have to practice. She goes, if you're supposed to do it, it's going to pop up and you'll just use it. And then sometimes it'll go away and come back when it's needed again, or sometimes it'll stay with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Can you see something now?
I saw Kelvin write that. Can I see something now? I see a lot of things, Kelvin. You're going to have to kind of narrow down a little bit more than that. I mean, there's a lot of things that I can see right now. So it just kind of depends on what you're trying to focus on. Like right now, I can see that Mary, even though her light kind of gives off a yellowish glow, her aura is more of a bluish gray right now. So it's a very calming aura right now. And it's probably because you're settling in for the rest of the night. So you're kind of coming down right now. Shane's is hard to read because of how scattered your background is. I normally need a clear background to see it. But because you're sitting, Mary, with the pale wall behind you, yours sticks out. Yours actually right now is 3 layers deep. You have one aura that is your essence, your aura. And then you have your kind of your mood auras that go out from there, and they'll flex on how far out or in they go. And that's really your vibration that's pushing in or out. And that's something you can control as well if you want to. You just want to identify how far you can push it out, or if you want to just draw it into yourself. I always have to draw mine in when I go on investigations, because we realized if I'm just working and I'm not paying attention, my abilities overwhelm the others and it gives them headaches and they can't work. So I really have to pull mine back in to kind of just keep them to me and not bumping everybody else.
Yeah, I do the same. Otherwise, I can't leave the house and can't do shoppings because I feel all negativity, all the pains, everything.
Yeah.
So in the evening, I let go. And
Yep. So that may be why you're blue-gray right now, because you're just comfortable where you're at and you're just kind of in your own element right now. And it's just kind of, that's your calming. That's your calming. But your blue is first and then your gray is next. So that kind of blends into that to where it's just going to happen like that. So
cool.
It is.
And Kelvin asked by Shane or Mary. Now the answer is yes. Mary actually has something with her. It's not an attachment at all, but it's something that's in your home. It's a loved one that's in your home, and you know this. Yeah. And it's something that, and at first when you said, I want my ring back, I was like, well, that, and they instantly told me, no, I didn't take the ring. It wasn't me. And I was like, okay. Shane, the same thing with your keys. I can pick up something that you don't have anything specifically in your home that stays there the whole time. And that's because of your wife. She does not allow it. But every once in a while, something will try to peek in. And like those little bastards, the fairies we talked about, they will make their way in and steal stuff from you. They have from her as well. but yeah, for Mary, you actually have something that's there. It's a loved one that's always
Yeah.
there, and that's also a calming effect to you because you talk to this person. You It's like you're holding conversation sometimes. You're just
Yeah.
like, here's how my day went,
Yeah.
type of thing. So yeah,
Like a lunatic, I'm talking to myself.
I do the same thing. I work in a government building that used to build World War II aircraft, and the test flights happened there as well. And at one point, one of the planes crashed into the building I'm in. So when I walk into the building in the morning, I always go, "Hey guys, how y'all doing?" And they'll let me know that they're there sometimes, but I always know where they're at.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just residual energy, but some of it is intelligent energy. And it just depends on who's in my area at the time that I'm talking to.
Yeah.
So yeah,
To answer Kelvin, no, it's not my mom.
no,
No, she's still alive. But it's my grandma.
I say it is a female though. Yep, I say it
Yeah.
is a female. So yep. So it's funny too how many times you straighten that lotus flower that's up behind your shoulder. Um, that one right behind you. So yeah, that one.
Yeah. I have them all over.
But there's yeah, so that's what I'm seeing is like that lotus flower emblem that you always have to kind of straighten. That just
Yeah, and I have one on my back, and it's a memorial tattoo.
oh, okay.
Yeah, and I made it with some different colors. And of all the earth that goes into the water,
Hmm.
beautiful flowers will bloom.
Absolutely.
So many died in a couple of years. So therefore, my aunt, my brother, and my grandma.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. And but your grandma's the one who's there the most though.
yes, she is. I can
Yeah.
smell her food.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
in bed and I smell the food.
And it's funny because when you smell the food is when the other ones show up. Because that's when the other ones are doing the same thing. They're like, oh, she's cooking. And they're recognizing. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's when you'll have the most amount of activity is when you're actually smelling the food.
yeah,
So yeah, that's pretty cool.
It
it
is
is.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lady, there's one lady who I talk to regularly and she watches my show. She's a pianist and she's a very accomplished pianist. But she had abilities but was very afraid of them and would not open up to them. And it scared her to death. So she started contacting me saying, "Hey, I'm very afraid of this." So I taught her how to use them, and I had to tell her because she said lights would flicker when she'd start to play, and I had to tell her when you start playing, that's when you're the most open, that's when you're the most free, and that's when everything else gets drawn into you. I said, the way I see it, when you play, you're gonna love this. And she's like, why? And I said, when you sit down to play piano, I go, people from every generation come out and stand around your piano and listen to you play, and they're all smiling, they're having a good time because they love how you play. I go, and the coolest part is you can see the kids sitting around your feet and playing around your feet when you're playing. And she goes, I hear them all the time, and I didn't know that's what it was. And I go, it's when you play is when you open up and all these people come in to listen to you play because that's how attached she is to music. That's how open she is when she plays. And so now she accepts it. And she actually has developed her her abilities very well. And so now she knows what they are. And I had to tell her the light flickering was not when the people showed up because it flickered as well other times. That was her mom trying to let her know she was there. And she kept changing the light bulb, trying to figure out why does this light keep going out? And she even changed the entire fixture because she thought maybe it was a wire shortage, but it still happened. And I had to explain to her, no, that's your mom. And she was like, oh, that makes so much more sense now. So she said
Yeah.
something, and then all of a sudden it stopped flickering. But she said, if you want me to know you're here, flicker the light. So it still flickers, but now she recognizes it for what it is.
That is cool.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
That's very cool.
Absolutely. Oh, I I love this kind of conversations. Uh,
And you can
let,
talk
let's
about that hours and hours.
yes, we can.
That's why I don't have a limit on my show. I used to belong to a network, and I had to stop being part of a network. because the network limited me to an hour. And I said, I can't let my audience just talk for an hour, or I can't let people ask me when I do what I call the open mic night, when people can come on and ask me questions. I said, I can't limit it to an hour because that's restricting and people want to talk longer. And I want them to talk longer, or they have more questions than I can fit into an hour. So that's why I went away from a network and I kind of went out on my own, was simply because it's not designed for me. It's designed for I call them my family, but it's really for the audience. But everyone who's in my audience is my family. And they know that. And when they come on my show, when guests come on my show, they instantly become part of my family.
Yeah.
And so I don't restrict anybody to an hour because I can't. It's not fair. So, and that's how I run the show over here. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually say an hour, hour and a half, and usually goes way longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My longest show was I don't know if you know who. Do you know who Andrea Perrin is?
Yeah.
I heard about it. Yeah.
So Andrea Perrin was original. For the people who don't, she was the original live little girl in the Conjuring house that lived there when all the hauntings took place. And I had one of her friends say, "Hey, Tom, I can get Andrea Perrin on your show. Would you like that?" I had no idea who she was. And I went, "Sure." And she's like, "You don't seem very excited." I'm like, "I don't know who she is." And she's like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "I don't know who." And it's funny because I've been doing this for 4 years, but I'm naive enough that I still don't know a lot of people. And it's just the way it is. And she's like, "Well, I'm going to have her on your show. She's going to love you for not knowing who she is because there's no expectations." And the night before the show, the lady calls me. She goes, "Hey, Andrea wants to call you. Is that okay?" And I said, "Absolutely." I said, she can call me. And she calls me. Is it okay to cuss on here?
Yeah, sure.
Because she calls me and I go, "Hi, Andrea." And she goes, "Oh my fucking God, I love you." And I went, "Well, okay, hello." And she's like, "I think you and I," "I already feel like you and I are related." And so we started talking. And she goes, I wanted to talk to you before the show to get to know who you are." She goes, "But as soon as you started talking, I already know I love you." And I said, "I have to tell you something. I don't know if this person told you this or not, who set me up with you." I go, "I have no idea who you are." I go, "Full disclosure, I don't know." She goes, "You don't know who I am?" I'm like, "No." And I thought she was going to be mad. And she goes, "That is so fucking fantastic." And she goes, "So do you want me to talk Conjuring House?" I'm like, "Andrea, I don't care what you talk about. It's your show. I'm simply the host."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Can I talk UFO?" I'm like, "Absolutely." So we talked for 2.5 hours about UFOs.
That's cool.
So
It was great. And she was so happy. We still keep in touch a lot and everything else. And she was just ecstatic that I didn't know who she was. And two, I didn't make her talk about just the Conjuring House like everyone else does.
Yeah.
Because that's not what she wanted to talk about. She was, "I can talk about whatever I want." I'm like, "I don't care. It's your show. I just turn the sign on and turn the sign off and we're good. That's it."
exactly.
So it was a really fun talk with her.
That is fun. Yeah.
Yeah, we went everywhere. It was great.
Yeah,
Now,
but
Go
I
ahead.
think even though I know a lot of people and Mary knows a lot of people,
Mhm.
I don't treat you any different because,
No,
like you said, it's your show.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We just push the buttons.
I purposely go to all the local like Paracons and Mystic Fest and everything here, and I walk around them because what I do is I have a very innate ability to pick up on your energy if it's good or bad without you even talking.
Mhm.
Sometimes I have to wait for the other people to leave the table, but the people around here that are in the surrounding states or even just the cities, they don't have a huge following or they don't have a big recognition. And I love bringing them on because they're such wonderful people. And I'm just giving them a larger platform for people to get to know who they are so they can start to follow them. And I think it's important just to simply do something just like that, because it makes a huge difference in their life because people don't know they exist, but they need to know that they exist. So I bring on a lot of people. Most of my people are people that people have never heard of before. And that's why I do it, because I want them to know who they are. They deserve to be known. And it's really cool just to have that opportunity to do what we do and to bring people on our shows that no one's ever heard of. At least, I'm sure that hardly anybody out where you are knows the bearded face here, the bearded bald one here.
Nope.
but and I thank the opportunity to come on your show and be able to share what I do and what we do with everybody else, because it gives them information. One, it lets them know that they're not alone a lot of times, and it gives them the ability to reach out and to ask questions.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a really huge deal to me, is to never leave anyone without knowledge that they should have.
Yeah.
And, and so this is for me to be able to come on your show. That's why I jumped at it so hard. I mean, Mary, you and I have only known each other through Facebook for like a couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So when I got the message saying, "Hey, do you want to come on my show?" I'm like, "Oh, hell yes, I do." So so again, thank you for letting me come on your show first. But I love the fact that we do this, and I love the fact that we have the ability to do this.
Absolutely. And it's the same idea here in the Netherlands. We have on TV, Help My House is Haunted. We have Ghost Adventures.
Yep.
We have Dakota Laden with Destination Fear.
Yep.
And we have the files.
Haunted Files.
Oh, the Holzer Files.
Haunted Files.
Holzer Files. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's more to the paranormal as those parattainments.
Than what you see. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And here in the Netherlands, they want to urbex, they want to investigate, they want to learn more about the paranormal. So there's more to the paranormal.
Yeah,
on TV.
They miss out on the 17 hours of walking around asking questions to an empty place without getting any response at all.
Yeah.
And then going home and getting absolutely nothing. They only get the part that's clipped out where something may have happened that they can turn into excitement, or they actually catch something that they turn into excitement. They don't get the they learn the hard way sometimes that TV is not real. There are a handful of shows out there that are fantastic because they're as real as they get. Ghost Hunters are fantastic. I don't know if you ever watched Ghost Hunters, but Ghost Hunters is really good. There's a handful of them that are really good, but again, they're still clipped to show you the exciting parts.
Yeah.
They're not showing what we actually do as investigators, just sitting there asking question after question after question, and our light never goes beep. We're like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Please.
Right?
We see 45 minutes of taping a week.
Right. We see 45 minutes of taping and 6 different things happened.
Exactly.
I can sit in a location for a week and not get one thing to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's really interesting when I go out there though, and like when I went to Hawaii, and I was actually I was being led around by so I'm gonna give a quick shout out. Joe Puno, who owns Hawaiian Hauntings, and he's the gentleman that is a friend of mine that is native Hawaiian out there. He's the one who took me out into the jungles and everywhere else. And we actually started walking around this location, and that's when the wind was happening and the water was happening and everything else. And we walked into this location, and I stopped. And Joe is a fantastic person, because what he does is he actually tells the folklore of Hawaiian traditions through hauntings and everything else. Like every night, he just goes out there by himself, sets up a camera, and just talks. And we get to this one location, and I'm like, Joe, this is where you're supposed to be telling your stories from. He's like, what? And I'm like, you're supposed to be. And there was this perfect tree that had fallen, but it had worn out so much that it actually looked like a place to sit. It almost looked like an altar you could sit on. And when you did, you looked out, and it looked like all the trees opened up to like an amphitheater. And he goes, I walked through these jungles for years, and I've never recognized this place like that. And I said, this is where you're supposed to tell stories at. And he goes, who's telling you that? And I go, I don't know. I go, I can see him. I'm hearing his voice. He goes, describe him. And I said, he's big. I go, he's 6'2", 6'3", very big. He's native Hawaiian, and he's in black and yellow feathers, and he has a big headdress on. And he stopped, and he's like, you're hearing King Kamehameha's voice. Tell me where to do my stories from. The king of Hawaii from way back when that helped, establish Hawaii from. He goes, you're hearing him tell me where to tell stories from. I'm like, absolutely. He goes, did you know that was him? I go, I have no clue. He goes, that's who's talking to you right now. And then to add to it, if you looked across where the water was, we were able to watch along a ridge line, and we can see the fire torches of like the Hawaiian warriors. And so it was really cool just to kind of take that in out of nowhere and have that kind of experience that we weren't expecting at all. We were just taking a walk. They were just showing me around. And then all of a sudden we're sharing these experiences together out of the blue. So it was very cool. So
That is amazing.
yeah.
Love it.
See, that's why I'm jealous. I don't see those things.
Luckily my job takes me all over the place. So
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah,
I've gone to Germany, I've gone to Italy, I've gone to Hawaii, I've gone to Poland. So that it kind of sends me all over the place, which is really nice that I get to do the travel. And even here in the States, like I'm really excited because in a couple of months I'm going to go to South Carolina, and I have friends out there who I'm going to investigate a night with because they have all the old slave plantations, the slave areas and stuff like that, the plantation grounds. And there's a couple of them that are really active. So even though I'm out there for work, I'm going to be able to take some of my equipment and go investigate while I'm out there at work. So it'll be really nice to do that. It just makes the next day at work really hard because I'm normally out till like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I got to turn around, get up again to go to work. But it's worth it.
it's definitely worth it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we always say sleep is for the weak.
It is. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Exactly.
yep.
Then I can sleep all I want.
Exactly.
Unless I'm busy haunting someone, there's always that.
Well, now you're mentioning, maybe I should haunt someone.
Hmm?
If I'm dead,
Yeah.
I will haunt someone.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I will.
Yeah.
I think I have a list.
Mm-hmm.
So
I just wanted to say the same thing. I don't think I have a list. I have a list.
oh,
I have a list. For sure.
It's gonna be fun. It's
maybe
not
having just
residual
us-
whatsoever.
right.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely.
But you're gonna do something when you're haunting them that they're instantly gonna go, that's Shane. I know that Shane.
Yeah, yeah. I will tell them up front. If I do something like that, it's me.
It's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I've had that when my brother passed. My brother passed, and he said, well, what do you want me to show up as to let you know it's me? And I told him a certain kind of butterfly, which doesn't exist here in the state of Nebraska. And he passed, and now I see them all the time. So I know that's him.
That is cool.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I had one incident, and my windows aren't that far open that feathers can come in.
Hmm.
But one afternoon, I came upstairs, and there was a big black feather on my bed.
Hmm.
No clue.
That is cool.
Set that one there. So
Cool.
yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
And I still have the feather.
Yeah, I have 4 feathers that I found, all like they were almost like fanned out. But the interesting part, they were sitting on the ground next to each other. There's 4 feathers, but they're from 4 different birds. They were not the same bird at all. And I was like, I'm just going to pick these up and take these with me. So I did, and I still have them. I don't know what they were from or who they were from, but I know they were set there for me to see because they were perfectly fanned out. I mean, it was just like 4 that sat like this, but they were all different birds. So,
Cool.
okay.
That's really
Yeah,
cool.
that definitely meant for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You won't find things like that normally. So
No. Normally you'll find a fan of like the fan of the turkey feathers out here, something got a hold of it or something else. But I've never had 4 feathers, different feathers, sitting right next to each other like that. So I picked them up, took a picture of them, and kept them with me. So
Yeah,
nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
absolutely nice. Let me think. You've been to a lot of locations.
I have, yes.
Yes, and now I have a question which I
Sure.
never ask. Is
I like
there
those questions.
any location which you were really fun to go to and was really disappointing?
Um, you know, my disappointment was a very well known home, but I have to accept it as a disappointment, not because not because of what it was, but because it didn't produce the results I wanted. It's the Villisca Axe Murder House out here.
Oh,
Um, it's very close to me. It's just a couple hours away, so we drove there about an hour and a half, 2 hours away, and we went there to investigate during the middle of the day, and we were kind of left alone. There was no one else there, so we walked around and we did some recordings, and we really got nothing. It was very very quiet. But I think that is partially my fault, as well as the location. Because I am not a shy, quiet person, I am quite vociferous, and a lot of my energy comes out. I think I may have intimidated them, the family that was there, and sometimes that happens to me. Sometimes I will close a location down because they don't know how to deal with my energy. Um, and that's what I felt there is the family was very quiet. It was kind of intimidated by this larger full beard guy walking in, just being able to hear them, and they didn't want me to hear them. I think if I go back again, I think they'll remember me and that we were kind and we were nice, and I think we'll get more results.
Mhm.
Um, as far as the fun ones go, I'm a little strange when it comes to the fun ones. Um, I like the standard. I go to places, I get cool recordings, everything else. But I also like the ones where we kind of get into a little bit of trouble and we kind of have to pull ourselves out of trouble. We went to one location where um, there was a handful of us around there, and we actually had one of our mediums. She was not supposed to go under, but she went under. She got jumped, and she went under. Um, and something was in her and it was challenging us, and it said, well, I want you. And it was looking at one of our one of our other people that were there with us, one of our investigators, and she goes, me, and it turned right at me and looked at me, and her eyes were solid black, and she said, no, him. And she looked right at me, and I was like, okay, let's go. So again, too dumb to know any better. um, so I took it from her and I trapped it. I took it from her. I actually let it crawl up into my arm, and I trapped it right here in my arm so it couldn't come to my heart. That's never where you want it to go. This is control central. So I trapped it in my arm. I took it outside, and I put my hand in the ground. I pushed it back out onto the ground so it wasn't in the house anymore. And then I had to go to her, and I had to help clear her. And I had to do that with a hug. I grabbed a hold of her, and when she went outside to throw up, and she threw up the black bile and everything else and stuff like that. And she was tired. She was exhausted. She was crying. She was just afraid. And I just grabbed her. I just held her. I'm like, come here for a second. And I have a trigger that I know when they're okay. And I felt the trigger. So I continued to hold her. And then I felt her go to complete calmness. And then I let go of her. And she's like, well, what did you just do to me? And I'm like, I took it from you. And she's like, yeah, let's keep going. Like total switch. Like she was like, okay, I'm good now. Let's go. And I'm one of those that I'm okay with the chance. Because there's nothing that I may be overconfident, but I think it's just the fact that I think that there's nothing that I can't face, and be afraid of. I'm just not going to be afraid of it. I don't. We've heard growls, we've heard all this other stuff, and I'm looking around for it. Where's it at? Where's it at? Instead of going, nope, time to go. I'm like, nope, where's it at? So.
That's
But
the spirit. I like that.
Yeah, my close place around here that we investigate is a place called Malvern Manor, and it's over here in Malvern, Iowa. And it is a switch between day and night. During the day, we can take people or people can go, and it's very calm. You'll still get action. You'll still get interaction. But at night, it flips. It goes very dark, so to speak. There was a person that we used to be on a team with, and he says, we weren't there at the time, but he was in one of the rooms, and they were hunkering down for the night. He was in his sleeping bag and he was in his cot, and something picked him up. He's about 320 pounds. He's a big guy. And something just picked him up with the sleeping bag out of his cot and slammed him onto the ground. He went outside and slept in the truck the rest of the night. He's like, nope, we're done. Good night. Yeah. But that's one of the places that's close, really close to us. and we'll go investigate that more often than anything else. But there's a lot of really unknown places around here, or they're just local that
Mhm.
have that people talk about, and that's what we're going to start checking out next. Is a lot of the local ones around here.
Cool.
So yeah,
That's really, really cool.
Yeah, I like it. I
Me
want
too.
those locations.
Yeah.
one's a cemetery. One
Mm.
one is a cemetery. One is a school that's still an active school that we just found out about. But they have a lot of things that happen there. We've been told we're allowed to go in there and investigate it.
Oh,
Um, and then couple of other ones are homes that are in the area. There's one location that's not too far from us. My old boss lives next to it, and it's one I haven't been able to get to yet because it's on private property, and I just really don't want to get shot yet. So I have to kind of plan it out properly when I know he's gone. But there's an Indian chief burial ground out there that was
yeah.
marked, and it's a very old one. But as people started moving east to west, a Christian settlement did not like the fact that there was an Indian chief buried there, so they built a church right on top of it. So that's one I want to go investigate to see what that energy's like.
I don't think the energy is going to like the fact that there's a church on his head.
I don't think so either. And it's still there. It's completely abandoned and run down, but the building is still there. So I wanna
I
go.
wonder why it's run down.
Yeah, I know, weird, but but yeah, I want to go to that location as well.
Yeah, I can
Oh,
understand that. That's very interesting.
why don't we have that much interesting locations here?
We do. We're just not allowed to go there.
Oh, that's the problem.
Well, we're not allowed either. We just stumble into them.
Yeah, it doesn't work here.
No.
No. As soon as somebody sees you,
Yeah.
you're fucked. And it's always people living around it, so
Yeah.
they see everything. I don't know how they do it, but they have eyes everywhere.
Yeah.
And as soon as you walk up to the building already, police are coming.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. There's a handful of places like that here. I'm still curious enough to try it. So I mean, worst case scenario is to tell me go away, and I'm like, okay, bye. So
Yeah, here they'll take you.
uh,
They book you, no problem.
yeah,
then they would get to know me very well. They would know me by first name. So
well, they some policemen here in the area know me by name, but
I am not surprised by that for some reason.
I'm very sweet.
Hold on, let me show you my shocked face. No, that didn't work.
No, I haven't got a mugshot.
Not yet.
No, 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 no. Well, we are going to talk a bit more in the back.
Okay.
But for Spotify, we are closing this one down.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask if you are willing to come back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's so much more we haven't covered yet that we can go into. We can go into multi-dimension paranormal. We haven't even talked about Bigfoot, Yeti, and Sasquatch yet, which are all three different beings. By the way, they are not the same thing. But yes, we can cover all that and go into so much more as well. So
That would be
absolutely.
cool.
I'd
Yeah,
love
that
to
would
come
be
back.
amazing.
That's so
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yes, it is. I love talking to people who knows a lot about cryptids and elementals and aliens.
We can even talk about the similarities because a lot of people find the differences, but no one talks about the similarities between angels and dragons. So
Oh,
that too. Yeah.
See, now you have to come back.
Yes,
You don't have,
you
to-
have-
yeah, you don't have a choice anymore now.
We have a whole new show set. See, we're already good.
Yeah.
So,
well, Captain, thank you for joining.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Your parents
If you
being an
want
asshole.
to wrap it, I will shut down the mic because my parents start.
If you want to click everybody in the back,
I will.
thank you, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Bye
See ya.
bye.
See you.
Oh, I don't see it. Ah, here.
Chasing truth in a haunted show. Are they real or something? Psychic dreams or skeptics grin. Ghosts of questions circling within. Answers vanish before they land. Investigators with their tools in hand, talking to the dark like it understands. Spirits rising from the sand.